Hi, it's Mr. Hussain with the subject of interpreting taxing statutes. Our today's topic is section and schedule. Here we will see the structure of the section and schedule. The main body of an act contains numbered sections. Rather, we may say that an act is cut into sections, pieces. Each section is a substantive enactment or declaration enforcing certain rules of conduct or conferring certain rights upon or withholding them from certain persons. Sections bear unbracketed Arabic numerals, for example 1, 2, etc. Unless the section is subdivided, the usual practice is to draft it as one sentence. And while referring to a section, it is called a section of. Suppose if I say that it is section 1 of Income Tax Act 1961 and is given a lowercase always. A section may be divided into subsections. Each subsection bear an Arabic numeral in brackets, for example 1, 2, all in parentheses, etc. The subsections are related to the theme of the section, but each is drafted independently. In other words, a subsection is made independent, but it does not go beyond the theme of the section to which it is a part. Like the undivided section, the subsection usually consists of a single sentence. Paragraph. A section or subsection containing a single sentence may be paragraphed to assist with readability. Paragraphs are usually given bracketed small letters, for example A, B in parentheses. These may further be subdivided into smaller divisions bearing Roman numerals in brackets, for example 1, 2 in parentheses. Judges take notice of the paragraphing as a guide to what are intended to the units of sense. The example of the paragraphing is given here. It is the section 17 subsection 5 of CGST Act 2017. The subsection 5 carries paragraphs like A, then again it is further subdivided into Roman 1, which has again been subdivided with again capital A, B and C. So this is a good instance showing three kinds of division: subsection, paragraph, subparagraph and further paragraph of the subparagraph. Shapu and float words. Where a subsection has opening words before paragraphs, the words before the paragraphs are referred to as the opening words or shapu. Shapu actually means a hat. The literal meaning is of hat. Here it has been used to show that these are the words which is over the paragraph. Similarly, words after paragraphs are referred to as closing words. The words after paragraph X are float words. Float words means completing word or the last word or the ultimate words, you can say. We can see one example to know the difference of shapu and float words. This is section 31 of CGST Act 2017. The section is of tax invoice, section 31. See, the subsection 1 is divided into paragraph A and B. So the word in yellow letter A registered person supplying taxable goods shall before or at the time of. These may be taken as Shapu, and the word in blue in the end of the paragraph. Issue a tax invoice showing the description, quantity and value of goods, the tax charged thereon, and such other particulars as may be prescribed, may be taken as flout words. Section heading or marginal note. Every section has its own heading. If you purchase a book of their act, generally you will find this on the top of each section. But in the Gazette, it comes on the side. We will see an example also. The function of the heading is to give a short indication of the content of the section. But it need not be a summary to cover everything dealt with in the section. Section headings, when read together in the arrangement of sections at the beginning of the act, should have such a consecutive meaning as will give a tolerably accurate idea of the contents of the act. This was advised by Lord Thrink in his book on practical legislation. Headings have not always been amended to reflect changes to the text, so older headings should be treated with particular caution. As headings are indicated by a note in the margin, so are referred to as side notes or marginal notes. You can see one example. There are three sections, section 32, section 33 and section 34, all from the CGST Act 2017. The words in yellow, green and blue are the section heading. In the gazettes, it is published in the margin or the side of the main text. So of course the name is marginal text and the side note or the marginal note. The sections of an act are grouped together into parts or chapters. In longer acts, there may be parts as well as chapters, such that the parts are subdivided into chapters. Part and chapter are always given a capital letter. Each part or chapter is given a number and has a short heading. A part or chapter is referred to by its number. Example of part and chapters taken as it is taken from the Constitution of India. In Constitution, the Part 5, the Union of the Indian Constitution, has following chapters like Chapter 1, the Executive, Chapter 2, the Parliament, and Chapter 3, Legislative Powers of the President, and Chapter 4, the Union Judiciary, and Chapter 5, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Italic heading or fasciculus. Italic headings are sometimes used to group sections together in small divisions, whether or not there are also parts or chapters. So if you see the General Clause Act, it is subdivided through fasciculus only. There is no part, no chapter. A group of sections under this kind of heading is sometimes known as fasciculus. These groupings are not numbered and are not usually cross-referenced in the text. Fasciculus, the literal meaning is a part of the book. Example of italic heading or fasciculus. Chapter 4 of Income Tax Act 1961 has the following italic headings or fasciculus: heads of income, salaries, income from house property, profit and gain of business or profession, capital gains, income from other sources. Schedule. Schedule is an optional part of the body of an act. Schedules are usually reserved for lengthy, detailed or technical matters that it is convenient to hive off and place at the end so as not to break up the flow of the sections. But this does not mean that they are unimportant. It is a convenient device for including matters of detail, the segregation of which not only relieves congestion in the main body of the Act, but also frees it from any possible complaint of untidiness. Another use of the schedule is to set out some document such as a treaty or convention, which is referred to in the sections. A schedule in an act is merely a question of drafting, a mere question of words. The schedule is as much a part of the statute and is as much an enactment as any other part. If an act contains schedules, they come at the end of an act after the section. The schedules are numbered with Roman numerals unless there is only one, in which case it is simply referred to as the schedule to the act. The division of material between section and schedule is usually a matter of judgment for the drafter. There are no hard and fast rules, and it is a question of how best to present the material. No significance is attached to whether material appears in a section or schedule. A schedule is described as being a schedule to an act. In section, we saw that it is section of an act, but schedule is referred to as schedule to an act. The word schedule is always given a capital S. A schedule may be paragraphed or subparagraphed with Arabic numerals bearing a closer resemblance to paragraphing of sections. As with section, there are no absolute rules when it comes to the internal structure of a schedule. Additional headings may be added and other drafting devices such as formulae, method statements and tables may be used. Inducing word. If the act has schedule, each schedule is regarded as being in the same part or chapter as the section introducing it. A schedule is introduced by wording in one of the sections. These words are sometimes referred to as inducing word. For example, Income Tax Act 1961 section 44 specifies that the profit and gains of any business of insurance shall be computed in accordance with the rules contained in the first schedule. If by mischance the words introducing a schedule, as we have seen the section 44 of IT Income Tax Act is the inducing section. So if this word suppose is not written, like the first schedule is not mentioned, then the schedule would still form part of the act if that was evident intention. Location of a schedule. The inducing words play a useful role in signposting the existence of the schedule as well as the location of the schedule. A schedule takes its location from the section introducing it and is regarded as being in the same part or chapter as the section introducing it. If a schedule is introduced by two or more sections in different part or chapter, then it is presumably treated in each part so far as relevant to the purpose of each section introducing it. For example, the second schedule to the Income Tax Act 1961 has been introduced by section 222, which is in chapter 17, and the same schedule has been referred to in section 276, which is appearing in chapter 22. So this schedule, the second schedule to the income tax, forms the part of both chapter 17 as well as of chapter 22. Shoulder note. The last thing we'll see. The section introducing a shoulder, a schedule, is usually specified in the margin. Rather, the Indian practice is to put in center just below the name of the schedule, the name or number of the schedule. Specified in margin at the beginning of the schedule and is known as shoulder note. There may be some error and it may not be written, but it does not affect the validity of the schedule at all. Example of shoulder note has been given. See the Schedule 1, this from CGST Act 2017. It is the Schedule 1. In the bracket, it is written C Section 7. So it is the Section 7 which has introduced this schedule, and accordingly it has been, the details has been given of the content of the schedule. So Section 7, the words in yellow is the shoulder note of the schedule. Thank you.